What's going on, guys? In this video, I'm going to show you guys all the new strategies and tactics that are going to be working for credit repair in 2025 so you guys can be able to make sure you're disputing correctly and getting items taken off. Let's get into this video right now. Alright guys, so with this video, I really wanted to break down a couple of different strategies. Lately, the credit bureaus have been getting a lot more stringent. The technology that they're actually using is getting a lot smarter, and with AI nowadays, it's going to make it a lot more harder to be able to get items removed and also be able to speak to a live person so you guys can be able to figure out which ways to go ahead and dispute. So I really want to break down a couple of different strategies that we have seen have worked and the pros and cons, a little bit about them as far as what they are. Credit repair is one of those things where you have to understand the system in order to be able to actually win against it, right? So what I mean by that is that with credit repair, the credit bureaus, they're not in the business of making sure that you actually get items taken off of your credit report. So the credit bureaus, they actually charge lenders based off of how good or how bad your credit is. So certain credit reports that actually have more negative items on there are going to be sold at a higher price compared to really good credit reports. That's because of the fact that lenders that are checking these credit reports can be able to go ahead and charge a higher interest rate to somebody with lower credit score compared to somebody with a higher credit score. That's why the credit bureaus, they don't necessarily want you guys to be able to go ahead and actually remove items off your credit file. And that's why they'll make you jump through all these hoops in order to be able to get these items deleted. That's why it's a whole pivotal piece on why you guys need to actually understand this before you guys go ahead and start disputing. Hey guys, it might even be negative, but they don't really care. They want to be able to make more money and they're in the business. You also have to remember, you're not the credit bureau's customers, the lenders are. So there's a couple of different strategies on how we actually go about getting deletions, right? So deletions are not going to necessarily be easy, but as long as you guys have patience and persistence, you guys will be able to start seeing some results. So the first credit repair method that people often use is called Metro 2. So I know you guys hear a lot about Metro 2 software, cleaning software. I'm sure you guys have saw all your favorite influencers, all your favorite gurus talk about it. They probably even have a software about it. So Metro 2 simply is the actual compliance code on how the bureaus actually verify and upload their information. So Metro 2, what it simply is a standardized format of how credit information is reported to credit bureaus. It's actually created by the Consumer Data Information Association, and it's the only language that's actually been used in order to be able to go ahead and report items to the credit bureaus. So for the most part, what we want to do with Metro 2, is use their own code against them. So if it doesn't follow these guidelines or procedures, if there's any single errors in how they're actually formatting this data or reporting it, then we can actually be able to get the items deleted that way. It's a really secret weapon on how you guys can be able to get items removed off of it. Now, Metro 2 is only good for certain accounts. It's not going to be good for every single type of account. For example, guys, so one account that it's really good for, is whenever you guys have a collection or any type of items that are on one credit report and they're not on the other credit reports. So whenever we're using Metro 2, we're simply using their language against them, and we're asking the credit bureaus to go ahead and verify every single piece of item of code in order to be able to make sure that it's verified. And most of the times they usually can't, so that's why you go ahead and get it deleted. That's why Metro 2 is really effective for certain cases. Now, this is going to be a good strategy if you guys want to be able to get items verified and disputed really quickly. So Metro 2 is a really good format and being able to go ahead and actually get these items removed based off of using what the actual credit bureaus use, using the format the actual credit bureaus use in order to be able to have them verify against their own information. So we're simply using their own language against them. Now, the next credit tactic that we actually have is consumer law, So the consumer law are literally the laws that are governed by the FCRA and the FDCPA. So the FCRA is for regular credit transactions abuse. So the FDCPA is more for collections and protecting you guys against abusive debt collectors. So I like consumer law a lot because of the fact you can use these laws against them, and you guys can also be able to point out these violations. Plus, if you do find a violation and you take them to court, you can literally be able to go ahead and reap statutory damages. You can actually be able to go ahead and reap your claim in court by getting thousands of dollars. You can actually be able to be awarded money if you take the credit bureaus to court and you win, because every violation that they go ahead and violate is $1,000, but Not only that though, you guys can start putting stuff like emotional distress, different certain items that you guys can start putting statutory items and all of this. And that's how a lot of people, even though they get $1,000 violation, they might end up with a $10,000-$20,000 check, right? And so definitely go ahead and talk to a consumer lawyer more about this. But for the most part, you guys can go ahead and be able to go to court and actually win that case, right? And so actually be able to go to court and go ahead and file a lawsuit against them. And if you guys win, you guys can be able to get awarded a good amount of money. So how we actually use consumer law, right, is we simply go ahead and actually point out the violation that the credit bureaus had actually violated, and we find out. So if it's a late payment, we might go ahead and use a law that forbids late payments or the timing of late payments in order to be able to get that item removed. So it's really cut and clear, and it's literally the law, and it's being used against them. And then of course, if they don't respond, you guys can be able to go to different measures as far as litigation or threaten to sue. But just make sure if you guys do go ahead and threaten to sue, that you guys do have all your ducks in a row and you guys can be able to do so. So definitely go ahead and talk to a consumer lawyer, because they're going to know more about your specific situation, and they're also going to be able to help you guys out. So consumer law is a really great tactic. It's very, very powerful because it does use the actual laws that are in place for us. So don't forget, guys. And so you are a consumer at the end of the day. So we do have laws and we do have rules that can be able to protect you guys in any credit situation. So we really have to make sure of this, because that's literally what all of these debt collectors, these lenders, they prey on ignorance. They prey on you not knowing the laws. They actually prey on your ignorance on not knowing the laws. So if you guys don't know the laws, I would definitely make sure you guys do so, just because of the fact that it definitely empowers you and also makes you able to at least help your family member, or at least help somebody around you that's being affected by it. So that's definitely one of the ways that consumer law can definitely protect you guys. But it's much more than consumer law. Like with credit in general, it's more about just financial well-being, right? And so at the end of the day, anything can happen at any point in time. So you just want to make sure you're protected. And of course, you don't want to get finessed by the debt collectors or any type of lenders. Actually go ahead and put this jargon in these contracts. So you definitely want to make sure you guys know exactly how to be able to resolve any situation that comes your way, especially dealing with credit. Now, let's go ahead and get into the third tactic right now. Now, the third tactic that we're going to be talking about is going to be the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or better known as CFPB. So CFPB, as you guys know, it's literally like Big Brother. It's the regulatory agencies. It keeps the credit bureaus in check by being able to go ahead and oversee exactly what they're doing. So the CFPB is a really great method. And just to keep in mind, right, you guys can go ahead and dispute with Metro 2. You can dispute with consumer law, or you can dispute with the CFPB and it still will count as a dispute, right? So the only difference between the CFPB and the other methods, right, is that CFPB is going to be more of a complaint factor, right? So whenever you guys are wanting to submit a complaint against the credit bureaus, what you guys will do is file a CFPB complaint, and what the CFPB will do is going to act like a mediator, right? It's going to send an initial dispute to the credit bureaus on your behalf. And so since it's coming from the CFPB, the credit bureaus actually have a job in order to be able to respond to a lot of these timelines. They're going to take it a lot more serious, because the credit bureaus actually have a duty. So they want to make sure they keep the CFPB happy, right? Now, at the end of the day, just because you guys go ahead and submit, so submitting with the CFPB is literally going to have your complaint taken a lot more serious, because these companies, they're really afraid of being able to get sued by the government. You guys can be able to go ahead and look it up, but there's been plenty of CFPB lawsuits against the credit bureaus for just simply negligence, right? The CFPB has stated in numerous lawsuits that the credit bureaus just really don't take anybody's dispute seriously. So if you guys are going ahead and sending out dispute after dispute and it's getting verified, what I would actually recommend you guys to go ahead and file a CFPB complaint, because now you get the CFPB involved, in which they're going to go ahead and directly reach out to the credit bureaus and actually conduct an investigation. So what they're going to do, right, is they're going to tell the credit bureaus like, hey, so-and-so has went ahead and actually disputed. What did you guys find? How did you guys find this? And so it's like a direct line. So the CFPB, I like them a lot because they're a faster turnaround time, right? So whenever you guys submit a CFPB complaint, you're literally going to be able to get a response back within about 14 days. Now, sometimes whenever you do file that complaint though, it will say that it's closed within 14 days, but it's really nothing to worry about. Sometimes complaints take a little bit longer, but as long as you guys went ahead and submitted it, they will be able to respond to you guys within that timely manner of of about 30 days. And so it's also a really great method in order to be able to have, in addition to Metro 2 disputes and also consumer law disputes. That way you guys can be a lot more aggressive, and that's all it is with credit repairs, just being super aggressive, making sure that you guys are going ahead and taking every single action. Of course, sometimes it might not fall off within 1 or 2 rounds, but you guys go ahead and keep disputing, and you guys got to keep disputing and really just stand your ground, right? So the more you guys stand your ground, the more likely the credit bureaus are going to go ahead and take you guys serious. You have to look at it like the credit bureaus are getting so many different requests. You want to make sure you're top of mind. So this is a quick video on how you guys can be able to use these different strategies and tactics, right? So we talked about Metro 2, we talked about consumer law, and we also talked about CFPB. So hopefully this video is helpful, and I'm really trying to get to 10K subscribers. So make sure you guys go ahead and subscribe and tap the bell notifications below so you guys can be able to help the boy out and getting on that road to 10K. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in and supporting. So like always, I'll see you at the top, my boy. Let's get it.